Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our WomHub live stream series. And we are seeing quite a number of you zooming across our platforms. And really, the purpose of our live stream series is to connect intimately with our WomHub community, where we'll be providing you with special insights and inspiration to really give you an opportunity to connect and interact with us in real time. And so over the course of the next couple of weeks, we've launched our amazing live stream series last week or 2 weeks ago, where we had Anthony Hardivan really touch on the importance of funding to our Warm Hub community. And so today it brings me an absolute pleasure to be talking to two amazing entrepreneurs to really touch on their experiences and challenges as being female entrepreneurs across the African landscape. I see that we are having a couple of chats and comments in our chat section. And so I really want to encourage our viewers tonight to really feel free to comment and to really share as well their experiences. As I said, this is really an interactive session for us to engage together as a community. And so, as I said, we've got two really amazing entrepreneurs joining us tonight. We have Tsepang, Khoboko, as well as Charlette and Gassan, who will be really talking about their experiences as entrepreneurs. And so, just a quick intro on my side. And so, Tsepang Khoboko is really amazing 24-year-old from Balkom in the Free State, South Africa. She is passionate about creating and improving access, particularly towards Africa's development. She is a chemical engineer who graduated from the University of Cape Town, and she is a social entrepreneur who has co-founded a startup called Tata. And she's also the founder of I Know, You Know, which is really a knowledge sharing platform for all things career, life, after high school, as well as opportunities that are available. And so really the vision around her platform is to empower via knowledge, and really imparting knowledge to the South African community at large. And then I am joined by another incredible entrepreneur, Charlette and Gassan, who is a tech entrepreneur who collaborates with various organizations that strongly advocate for gender equality in the tech ecosystem. She has a degree in electronic and software engineering, as well as being a certified in this also other certification in data science and machine learning. She's passionate about solving problems using technology, and she's the co-founder and CEO of Base Group, which is a disruptive tech startup that provides AI powered facial recognition services for online identity verification. And so after that long introduction, good evening, ladies. So Charlette, let's start with you. Could you tell us a little bit and share about your journey to doing the exciting things and the work that you are doing now? Could you share a little bit about your journey? Ooh,
So,
there you go. I see Charlette.
yes, I'm Charlette Nguessan, so I'm from Ivory Coast, and I grew up in Ivory Coast. I studied there. So I used to be really passionate by technologies and how to apply to solve problems. So I remember that at that time I was just like doing some hackathons, understanding the Avoyant tech ecosystem. And I was looking for an opportunity to start my own business. And sometimes later, and I got an opportunity to move to Ghana to attend a MES, is a school for aspiring software entrepreneurs. And I was actually the first woman, the first Ivorian to join the cohort. And it was an amazing opportunity for me because when I joined the cohort, and we did 1 year of learning, understanding the Ghanaian market, and even I've met my co-founders, and that's where things started being like okay, I started being like very sure about what I want to do in terms of career, right? So I was like, okay, and I was thinking about technology, about communication, everything, and at the same time, I was doing some market research in the financial space to understand the challenges banks were facing. And with my co-founders, we talked to banks, fintech companies, and we noticed that they were struggling with onboarding. We spend a lot of money in terms of EKYC and even in terms of online fraud. So we wanted to solve that issue and bring something really amazing in the African market. So we built our API. We call this base API. Is a remote ID verification using facial recognition, and that API helps businesses, especially financial institutions, to verify the client's identities remotely in real time. And since 2018, and I've been working full time for my startup as a co-founder and CEO. And it has been a beautiful journey. I mean, I enjoy the journey. I enjoy being an entrepreneur. So I believe that later we talk more about like what it is to be an entrepreneur. But for now, it's a bit like my journey, how things started, and yeah, so far.
And that is absolutely incredible. I know that just in terms of reading the bio and just actually going through the platform itself, it's absolutely phenomenal. I know that as well, you're the first woman to have won the African Innovation Prize by the Royal Academy of Engineering, which is incredible, and also just being one of the 100 influential young African leaders. And top AI leaders to follow in Africa. So it's really absolutely incredible. I'm seeing just a couple of chats in the comments. I see Notolo says she is so excited to listen to you ladies. And Notolo is one of our founders as well on our SASL Women in Engineering Incubator program. And then I see a comment by a LinkedIn user saying, "Hi ladies, I'm not sure who you are, LinkedIn user." So if you could just pop your name in the chat as well. I say, "Hi ladies, looking forward to the session." And so thanks for just telling us about your entrepreneurial journey, Charlette, and as well with you, Tsepang. I know that just doing such inspirational things in this world. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and really the startup process to the organization?
Well, I must first say that Charlotte's story is very, very inspiring, especially all the stuff she's managed to do as well. So, yeah, I'll definitely be on the lookout. But in terms of my journey, so how that got began, I met my co-founders in varsity, but really where my passion for creating access came from is that I just realized that a lot of the African problems we have are really can be solved by creating access, because you sometimes find that so many opportunities do exist, but if you don't know about it, that's as good as not existing. And so with all the work that has already been done to create those opportunities, in order to make it worthwhile, then it would be good to also put in some work in making the opportunities accessible to a lot of people. And so that's really what I'm passionate about, creating the access or improving already existing access. And so I met my co-founders in varsity, and I think we just had this idea of making knowledge accessible, and how we wanted to do that was to remove language as a barrier. Because if you think about it, especially in the South African context, you find that I think about 25% of the population speaks English and Afrikaans. However, those remain the main mediums of communication in schools and just in general everyday life. And what that means is if you don't know those languages, or you don't have competence in those languages, for the most part, a lot of knowledge will really, you won't be able to access a lot of knowledge. And with the current unemployment rates that we have, I really think we should be doing more to find ways to get knowledge across to people. There's certain jobs that don't need you to know a specific language, but once you get and acquire the skill, then you're able to carry out the job. And that's really what we wanted to do. And so initially what we wanted to do was to create a translation tool, because we thought, the language is available in English. And so if we can get a translation tool that'll get it into the different African languages, then we can make this knowledge available. But translation technology is not very advanced, even for the worldly spoken languages, your Germans and Mandarins. Because of the AI element in it, it's still not very advanced at this stage. But all the more, especially for African languages, where you find that in some subject matter, the words don't exist yet. So we actually have to build the language. Like, try and picture trying to teach someone chemical engineering in Sesotho. Some of the language has not been developed yet. And so there was so much sort of work and groundwork to do before we even thought of getting into the market. And so we then sort of took a step back and pivoted a bit and said, okay, what is the minimum viable product that we can get into market with, and then build from there towards our eventual goal. And that's when we decided to build a digital library and to first start with children's books, specifically because they are already available, widely available in like a lot of languages, but also because reading for meaning is a challenge that we really have in our country. I think some of the stats say 78% of grade 4 learners cannot read for meaning or don't read for meaning. So they can read, they can say the words, but they don't understand what they're reading. And so that's the problem that we were like, okay, let's tackle this problem while building towards our ultimate problem, because it does fall under what we ultimately want to achieve, which is to make knowledge accessible by removing language as a barrier. And so we're currently in the prototyping phase of our digital library. It's going to be a digital library for children's audiobooks in the 11 official languages of South Africa. And yeah, we're planning on testing it with a couple of parents and also a school that has expressed interest to test our product. So we're quite excited about that.
Amazing stuff, Tsepang. And I think I just echo some of the comments in the chat section or comment section. Is I see Monica says, Tsepang, well done for pioneering this high impact project. And then I see Ahupa says inspiration. And I completely echo the sentiments of our audience tonight, where it's really about, creating impact. And that's really what you both ladies are doing. And so just as you were talking about just some of the challenges that, in your case, Tsepang, is accessibility for some of the members of the community. I just have a question really around as much of as an audience we really like to understand, and that we know entrepreneurship definitely comes with its challenges, right? And so what have each of you ladies found to be one of the toughest hurdles or the or challenges that you've experienced in business?
Okay, so I have to go first.
You can go first, it's fine.
Okay, I think that's a good question, because basically you have like common challenges we face as entrepreneurs. But from my own experience, I mean, based on the business I'm running right now, it was a bit challenging to bring that technology on the African market, because what we built is an API that uses facial recognition, and you know that people are not used for that technology, and they don't trust, like, they know a bit about biometric technology, no fingerprint, but they're not used about facial recognition. And also we had also some kind of issue, we heard about some issue before about like how the technology is a bit discriminating. I mean, a lot of bias in terms of recognizing Black people, and it was also challenging for us to bring that technology in the local market. So for us like that, it has been like we had to do almost or a lot of work, because we had to educate the population to build trust in your market, make sure that people trust you, they understand what you do, they understand that, okay, that's a technology, it's an emerging technology, but actually can make a lot of impact, and this can be really like, can power a lot of things. So we have to be really involved in that education aspect. At the same time, we have to focus on building the platform, make sure that our API works and it actually can verify a lot of people, and it doesn't matter the type of your skin color. So we are focused on building our model. And in terms of other challenges we had, it just like in terms of adoption, it's still the same aspect, because it's still hard, and it's still hard to get like paying clients. So we did a lot of integration, a lot of pilot phases, but in terms of making like a lot of revenue, it's still very hard. And I think that at some point is one of the tough challenge for entrepreneurs, because at some point to make money, and when you are struggling a bit, it's becoming a bit hard. In terms of general challenges we face as an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. Like, you need to be very strong, resilient. We get a lot of no rejection. So how you deal with rejection is a bit like tough. So, and for myself, I think that most of the time at the beginning was hard to get no, but sometimes you get used to that. It's not good to say that you get used to no, or to get used to rejection, but it's just like you learn how to deal with. You learn from that. Someone say no, you don't just close your laptop, or you need to understand why the person said no, why this client said no, and how you can improve your model, and that's what I've learned, what I've been doing so far. And I've been lucky in had a team with my friends, so it was a bit easy to deal with compared to some people. So I think that yeah, so far that's what I have in mind right now in terms of like something that really be like that for me. Yeah.
And I think, Charlotte, what you've mentioned is particularly important around having that resilience and really believing in your dream and your idea, and pushing that and not letting rejection get to the individual. So thanks for sharing that. And for you, Tsepang, just some of the challenges that you've experienced along your entrepreneurial journey, particularly within growing the business. What challenges have you experienced? Yeah.
I definitely echo the sentiments of rejection. And I think it's especially hard when you really believe in your idea and you can really see how it's going to be so impactful, but it feels as if you're not really able to get either the message across or other people just don't see the vision. So that's definitely also been a common challenge as well for us. But I also wanted to say that with regards to the challenges that we received or faced, the challenge of having to wear every hat that your business needs has been quite like huge, because whatever needs to happen in a startup, you basically need to know how to do it, and you need to know how to do it well enough so that it's successful. So from marketing to pitching to building the product itself, especially if you are not yet at the stage of being able to fund some of the tasks or activities that need to take place in the business, then you sort of need to find creative ways of getting the stuff done. And I suppose that is, I guess, what entrepreneurship really is, also just ideating and innovating around getting some of those things done within the business. But it's definitely been a challenge. And I think another challenge that's been somewhat unique to our business is that for the entire time that we've been running the business, we've been doing it part-time. So that too has been a challenge, because we founded the business while in varsity. So we still had our studies and the business, and then all four co-founders currently work full-time, and we are still running the business. So that has also been quite a challenge, because 7 p.m. is actually morning for us, because then it's like then we have our meetings, then we have our discussions, and the weekends as well. So I think it's also taken a lot of sacrifice, which I think is a common challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs face, that you do have to sacrifice at some point, and sometimes you sacrifice a lot. So it's all about also balancing that out and finding a way to just make it work. But I think ultimately it's been a journey worth taking, but definitely one full of challenges.
And I think, thank you so much and the both of you, for being just completely real, around, look, the challenges are there, and it's really about persevering through it, right? I'm just looking through the chats, and we have Khoboko as well, who's currently a founder on one of our incubators. She says, inspiring, well done, ladies. Naomi says, love your vision, ladies. It is so inspiring. And then we have someone from Hub who says, so true, dealing with rejection and wearing all hats, exclamation mark, is definitely a challenge, right? And so just a quick double tapping on that. So what makes you persevere, through those tough challenges? What makes you get up and say, you know what, I'm going to keep going?
Yeah. So for myself, yeah, I always say that nobody asked me to do business, right? So it's a choice, and it's a choice, and I know what I'm doing, right? I really want to solve problems, and even if it's really hard, at the same time, learning a lot. I don't think that all the things I've learned in my entrepreneurship journey, I don't know if even if I'm working for a company, I should have learned that. So I don't have any regrets about that journey, and I knew that it's not going to be easy, because I'm not the first person to start a business. So when you start a business, you can read a lot and see how people are dealing with or all the kind of things we are talking today. But you don't know actually, because you are just reading about that. But when it's your time and you need to face that challenges, you say, okay, that's how it's hard, you know. And yeah, it's hard now. No, okay, that's how it's hard, but okay, let me keep pushing because I have a vision. I know what I'm doing, and I believe in what I'm doing. I know that I'm doing a product that can help a lot of people. You know, I want to solve that problem. I want to make sure that people can have access to any kind of financial services without necessary to move from east of north. You know, be able to close the gap in financial. Let's say inclusion, you know, and all of this when you know what you want to, why you know your why, it's much easier for you to keep going, you know. And it's very important for any entrepreneur to make sure that they know that why are they doing that, why are you building that product, and what is the purpose, you know. And I think that if you have a strong why, and it's really easy for you to keep pushing, to be resilient. And also you need to have like co-founders. For some people who have co-founders or need to have co-founders, they understand that it's not easy, so they need to be here for you at some point because one of the main issue in terms of running businesses is like a team issue. And if you guys are going through like a hard time and you're not able to be together or to be there for each other, it'd be very easy for each of Y to say, okay, well, I'm not in the business anymore because I can't handle that. So yes, I think that basically when we start, if entrepreneurship is for you, you keep pushing, you know, and you know when you need to stop. That's life, you know. At some point, you know that okay, it's time for me to stop. It's time for me to keep pushing. But there is not like a way to go. It's just like know what you are doing, know why you are doing that, and understand your solution, understand your target. Keep build your product, have like a roadmap above a different stage, and from every step, any stage you're building your product, you can say that okay, I'm learning this from this, you know. But if you are building something and you feel that you're not learning anything from that journey, I think that it's time for to quit, you know. You need to feel that okay, because what will point to waste your time, you know. For me, just like make sure that I don't waste your time. And not wasting your time is learning through that journey. Even if you fail, it's okay. It's okay to fail. I'm not the first one, you know. There's so many people, I know so many entrepreneurs, we are all dealing with the same problem, I'm not the only one. So I'm not scared to fail. I'm not scared to say that okay, I got to know from that business partner or you know, I'm not scared about that. It's just a way for me to learn and to keep pushing. And I think that it's just like know your why. That's why you can keep pushing and not say that I would stop. Just be strong enough and think, yeah, you know, that's
And,
something
and,
you do.
thanks for, and thanks for that, Charlette. And I just want to double tap on something you said, Tsepang, as well, in terms of wearing many different hats. And you spoke about pitching. And so, you know, 2 weeks ago in our live stream series, we had Anthony who really gave valuable insights as to pitching for funding, right? What kind of stories would you share, Tsepang, around your experience of the pitching experience or any tips that you can give our entrepreneurs on the call tonight?
Okay. Just comment on the previous one. I really like the thing of knowing your why because I think that's definitely what will carry you through. And if something has also been placed on your heart, I believe that you ought to solve it because if you don't do it, the problem continues to exist. But if you tackle it or attempt to tackle it, then at least you have a chance of addressing it. So I definitely do agree with knowing your why as the thing that will hold you onto the journey. And in terms of our pitching journey, it's been long. So a lot of people don't know, but we co-founded the business in 2018, and we started talking about the business in 2017. So it's been quite a long journey, a lot of pitching, a lot of pivoting, and I think it's firstly challenging to hear the no's, definitely in terms of pitching, but it's also been quite like incredibly enriching because from every no you do get constructive feedback as to what is it that is the issue. And I think that's one thing that I suppose entrepreneurs who are in the road or journey of pitching have the benefit of getting a lot of. It's all the constructive criticism from experts and people who've run successful businesses, who've run and sold businesses. You really do have access to them throughout the journey of pitching. And so that was definitely one key takeaway that we had throughout the pitching journey. But also just in terms of tips and tricks, I think really just know what you're doing and believe in what you're doing because ultimately what pitching really is to sell, is to tell your story. And I think the more you know what you do and believe in it as well, the more believable you also sound to the panel. But also, very importantly, just doing the background work of a business, knowing your numbers. That's very, very important, because ultimately you are pitching probably for money. So it's usually very key for you to know, what are you going to use this money for? What are your numbers looking like? What are your costs? But also what revenue you're expecting to make. Just really, I think it's worth it for every entrepreneur to really spend a good chunk of the beginning of their business really crunching their numbers and ensuring that they understand each and every digit that they add onto their costs or whatever, even onto their revenue, understanding what is the road, your customer journey that your customers are going to follow. Just having a clear understanding of some of those things, because really, when you are pitching for funding, they really want to ensure that they're going to give it to the right person, that the person they're going to give it to is someone who understands the value of money, but also what they're going to do with the business. So yeah, that's the advice I give for the pitching journey.
Okay, so what I can add is just like I agree with Tsepang. So what I can add is just like it's very important. Like, you know, when you're in a team, I know that because and at some point when you start your business with your team, you say that okay, you're in charge of pitching, you know, you're good, you know how to speak, so you can pitch, and that's very good to have someone who's responsible of pitching. But it's very important to make sure that anyone in the team learn how to pitch. Some people that scared about that. Even me, I was scared at some point at the beginning. I was really scared. I was like, oh, I don't speak English. I don't know how to pitch. You know, I'm not sure people will understand me. But the thing is, like, you just practice, and that's what I've learned in my journey, because you just need to practice. And for my team like that, we were 4 co-founders, and we all have a technical background. And at some point, we need to choose someone to pitch. And one of my co-founders was the one pitching. And I noticed that sometimes you can be in a room where your co-founder one responsible to pitch is not around, and you need to pitch for people. And when you talk about pitching, it's not just like come and start to pitch for an investor. You can pitch for someone in the building. You can have an opportunity anywhere, any room you can be there. It can be an opportunity for you to sell your businesses, and you need to understand that. You need to understand that you can pitch for investor, for to get a grant, to get a business deal, to get a partner. There's so many ways to pitch. You need to be ready for that, even you're not the CEO. And for me, for my journey, I've learned. You know, I don't think that. I mean, I was not speaking English very well, so I was a bit scared. I have some kind of insecurity. You know, opening your mouth and speak in front of people. You don't know if they're going to understand you. But at some point, I noticed that is key for my startup, because you are need to pitch. And I learned that practice. Every time you practice, you get feedback from people. And at some point, you'll be there. You'll be able to sell your businesses. And you know, today you're talking about the fact that okay, I want the Africa prize, but I was pitching, you know, and I was like, okay, I mean that all the practice I've done to this at some point can pay, you know, you can see progress. And it's very important to really learn how to pitch. Don't just say that I'm shy or maybe I'm not a CEO, I'm a CTO. No, it doesn't matter. When you're a startup, you know, we can wear all the hats and you should be ready for everything. So make sure that you practice and you learn. It's just a question of time.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that. And I thank you both for just sharing those amazing kind of tips in terms of pitching. And thank you so much for tonight, ladies, for sharing just such great insights and inspiration with us tonight. So how can our audience find out more about each of you and the work that you do? Tsepang?
So if you want to know more about Taka, you can get a lot of our information on our website, and you'll find that on www.taka.africa. That's www.taka.africa. And then you can find all our information as well as our audiobooks as well. You can find them there.
Great. Thanks so much, Tsepang. And then Charlette as well on your end.
Okay, so for us, you can have more information using our website, basecode.com. You can also check also my LinkedIn page. I have a lot of articles and a lot of links about what we have done. And yes, if you need to send any email, you are looking for partners, you want to do business with us, you can just send me a DM or maybe just use my email, Charlette at basecode.com. So I'm really very open to talk and to see how we can collaborate. I'm really open. So just send a message and talk.
Sounds incredible. And again, thank you so much, ladies, for just sharing with us, just wrapping up some of the comments in the chats, really. Naomi said such valuable insights. Thanks you to all of our ladies tonight. And then Tepo from EGA says, wow, Charlette, you are a powerhouse. Thank you so much. And we've got Ayanda who then shares, Thank you so much, ladies. This was very insightful. And so thank you so much to our audience tonight for joining in on our live stream series, where we really dived into the entrepreneurship real talk table that we had here tonight. You can always well catch the recording, which will be made live to you quite soon. And do keep in store for our next live stream series as well. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Bye.